Alright everyone, here's a very funny story. Touches close to home because of course it comes from the state of Vermont, where Philscott came out the other day with a press and he's like, well, we're going to try to get schools to query kids on whether they had multi-family gatherings, or what is it, more than 10 people at a gathering or something, for Thanksgiving, and then we're going to quarantine them for a week if that's the case. And then if they get a negative test for COVID, then they can come to school. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this could play out so many goddamn ways. They did not fucking think this through. Number one, kids, if pressed by their family potentially, would just say, no, there was no multifamily gathering. Yeah, there were 300 fucking people there, but no, I didn't attend a multifamily gathering. It was just me and my mom and a turkey. And I went to sleep because of the tryptamine. That's one side. Then you'll have maybe the problem kids, like maybe what I would have done, say, oh yeah, there were a lot of families there. Oh, I don't have to go to school for the next week? You mean I can just connect remotely? Wow. Hey, Mom, guess what? I don't have to go to school for 2 fucking weeks. Ha ha, loser. That will happen. And by the way, it'd be an interesting form of protest if all the parents just showed up and said, yeah, we all had a massive-ass family gathering. Bye. And then for 2 weeks, the school is completely empty. The teachers just sit there playing with themselves, which is basically what half of them do anyway, by the way. Also, this is ripe for potential lawsuits. Let me explain how. Little Jimmy, on Thanksgiving, is with Mama and Dada, little sister, and his puppy. Not a multi-family gathering, only like 4 or 5 people. Maybe an uncle comes over, but it's one core family. There's no visitors, no guests or anything. Little Jimmy is queried by the school. They say, well, did you have a multifamily gathering? Yeah, says little Jimmy, I did. Okay, well, you have to go home. Daddy calls on the phone. What the fuck's going on? We didn't have a multifamily gathering. Well, your son self-reported. We have to assume that that's true. Okay, you'll hear from my lawyer. Defamation case, fraud case, whatever kind of case you want, because they're being improperly prevented from going to a taxpayer-funded public school institution without having a proper cause. This is going to become a legal quagmire. And there are other states, by the way, doing this. And, by the way, the idea that it is acceptable for taxpayer-funded individuals to be querying kids in the school about their private behavior at home, unrelated to something like abuse or breaking the law. The idea that because the governor doesn't want people to go to school if they happen to have had their great aunt over is really, really dubious, number one, legally. And number two is extremely dystopian and disturbing. It is disturbing that there are people that are actually taking seriously the idea that a governing body should have this power or does have this power, number two. The Fourth Amendment does exist. You do realize that there is such a thing as the right to privacy. Honestly, if I were a parent under the circumstances, I would take my child out of the public school system. I would be homeschooling them right now, or I would put them in a private school that's not subject to the governor's orders in the same way. Or I would keep them home for the week anyway, whether there was a multi-family gathering or not, so that my child didn't have to be queried. It's unacceptable for Philscott to act this way. He's violating the state constitution, not just the Constitution of the United States. There are a bunch of bitter, ignorant Karens out there that are like, well, if they don't do this, this is a good thing, it'll save lives. No, it won't. It can slow the spread. Dude, even initially, you remember many, many months ago, and we were told that we had 15 days to flatten the curve and slow the spread so we could save millions of lives. Do you remember what the CDC told you? The CDC came out and told you it would not save any lives. It will simply slow down the number of case totals over time to prevent ICUs from being overwhelmed. If they hit critical capacity, then the death rate potentially begins to climb. We never got anywhere near it. We were told that for a couple of weeks we needed to lock everything down and prevent Armageddon, which was, not really happening, but they thought so at the time. Now we've got our second wave. In some parts of the world it's already petering out. Not so in parts of the United States, Gesundheit. Oh no, you sneezed. We can't have Thanksgiving now, according to our governor. But this is ludicrous, though. And kids, keep in mind, the young are the least susceptible to having any significant complications from COVID. They are the least susceptible. This disease, as we have documented over the course of literally millions of cases spanning a broad collection of people of every ethnic and racial and age background in the whole fucking world, primarily involves people who are obese, who are old or have some underlying condition that affects their immune system, their respiratory system, or their vascular system. That's the very large bulk of people who are dying or getting considerably ill. Yes, there have been cases where young kids have died. There have been cases where young kids have had long-term complications, decreased lung function, brain damage. This happens with flu. It happens every single year. You just don't hear about it because it's not common, but attendant to a current pandemic with a novel disease, it gets more press. That's why. This is an overreaction. Vermont has the lowest case totals in the entire United States. One of the lowest totals of a region in the whole fucking Western world. And you're telling me that the school needs to act like the Gestapo or the Stasi and question students about their holiday gatherings. The fact that you had 11 people instead of 10, or that somebody from another household happened to attend to eat turkey, is not going to stop society from functioning. This sort of bullshit is what stops society from functioning. It's pointless. And people are going to lie to the school anyway. If they have a multifamily gathering, certainly all Vermonters are aware that their kids are going to get queried about this. They'll say, look, just lie. What are they going to do? Are they going to start a police investigation to see how many people were at your fucking Thanksgiving party? Honestly, though, I think that they should do the opposite. I think parents in Vermont should get together when they go back to school in a few days after Thanksgiving. I think you should get together, and you should all instruct your children regardless to say, yeah, we had lots of people at our gathering. Let them basically shut down the whole school system of the state of Vermont for a week or two. And then show them, look, you can lie in the other direction too, and some people will have multifamily gatherings. Some people will be dumb enough to tell the truth. You should get together and nullify the governor's bullshit. Now, this is not being suggested by the WHO or the CDC or any other significant medical body worldwide. This is only a suggestion from the governor of Vermont, who has already come out, by the way, past sweeping restrictions that are crushing Vermont businesses, while also passing completely toothless restrictions with regards to masks that, number one, are widely ignored, and number two, are toothless because they're unenforceable. Even the governor himself has come out and said that they are. Oh yeah, well, I request that you all wear masks when you're in an indoor area or outdoors and you can't stay, 10 feet away from the next person. But, we're not going to be able to do anything to force you to. Well, what the fuck is the point then? Again, lowest case totals in the United States, and that's not because of restrictions, because Vermont didn't really have any until recently. It was basically, please social distance. Initially, during the lockdown, it's like, oh, Walmart can stay open, but your ma and pa shop, fuck you. Dude, Thomas's Dairy's gone. I shudder to think, when I visit Rutland again, how many of the local businesses that I've gone to will be gone. I shudder to think how much the local economy will have been gutted. The time to get out of Vermont apparently is now. It's already been time to get out though the writing's been on the wall for decades. Since long ago, since the Howard Dean days. Taxes keep creeping upwards, more and more regulations, less and less business friendly. They get to the point they're trying to pay people who are like freelancers to move into the state, but a freelancer like me who's already in the state gets no relief. It's like the government of the state of Vermont wants everyone but Vermonters to be in Vermont, but isn't even willing to create a system to incentivize them to be there. You don't exactly, you don't have the greatest weather. It's pretty dark and cold. Yeah, alright, you like skiing. Okay, trust me, it gets old after a number of decades. Not the greatest business climate, not the greatest geography for even really having businesses of many kinds. 90% of the state is rugged mountain terrain, so you're basically relegated to a few valleys unless you want to live on the side of a hill. That's not necessarily where you want to put your paper manufacturing plant. We don't have the infrastructure to support anything beyond light industry anyway. They keep trying to make homegrown industries. The closest thing that we got is like vineyards and breweries and stuff. Now you're telling people that the bars are going to close. You're going to crush the economy of the fucking state. Now you're trying to get kids to snitch on their parents. Again, and as I believe at this point, probably the second most prominent Vermonter in the world, other than Bernie Sanders, because I know that Philscott is a foreign thing to the average New Englander, let alone people in the world at large. It's sort of a responsibility to keep weighing in on all the dumb things that he's doing. And it is dumb. This is stupid. And it's not going to work because what are the kids going to do? Their parents are going to say, oh yeah, you can tell them that we had a multifamily gathering, but consider yourself grounded for the next 2 weeks. And by the way, that's how things should work. It's none of the government's business that you had a Thanksgiving celebration. It is not risking anybody else's life. kids are at lowest risk for COVID, and if they're already getting together in a school environment, if one of them has it, doesn't matter if you try to quarantine, they will all get it anyway. There's nothing you can do. This is a now endemic disease affecting hundreds and thousands of people just in active cases. In fact, I think it might be over 1 million at the moment. Yeah, good luck trying to stop it by trying to rain on people's Thanksgiving. Wait till you see what Philscott has in order for Christmas. People should, by the way, this is something that I've suggested as well for Whitmer, for Newsom, for Cuomo. Send them coal. Mail them coal with a Christmas card. You can do that. Peaceful protest. There's nothing illegal about it. Send them a chunk of nice Pennsylvanian anthracite or something like that. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, Philscott is one. That's about all. Peace out.